And thank you, everyone, for the instructors for guiding us through the overview of this program. My name is Ryotaro. I'm a researcher at Kyoto University working with Mark here, and I'm a local coordinator for this program, looking after your all's practicalities and the program itself. And I don't want to take away a bunch of time for questions and answers from everyone. So at this point in time, I would like to open this floor for any questions you might have, and our instructors and or Shard and I would answer to your questions.
Thank you, Rita. I wonder while people are gathering their thoughts, I've had a couple that have come through to me on the private chat that I might just drop one in while people are thinking. Does that work?
Yep.
So one of the questions I had was, what experience does the teaching team have with workplaces themselves, and any feedback from organisations on mindfulness in the workplace? So I'm going to look to Stanley for that, because I know that you've got a lot of experience here. And then, if you've got any questions other than that, you can feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand. Either the real hand or electronic hand is fine.
Thank you, Sharon. Well, I guess, all teachers would be different. They bring their own background. For me, 15 years in international corporates, places like JP Morgan, UBS, in the dealing room, so fast-paced stuff. But over time, I really found a love for developing people. So since 2010, I've founded a consulting firm. So I run that. We do consulting work internationally. And so it's still very much leadership roles that I'm working with day to day. So, and in terms of mindfulness, this is something that I sort of bring in my life every day. But also we are working with corporates in the region to support them. Again, it's like I was sharing earlier, really beginning to see mindfulness not as this sort of separate add-on that can be helpful for resilience or some tactical thing. Mindfulness as a way of being a human being, and being as we lead or as we move through the world. So really, to me, I see this as sort of a part of my life, and certainly will continue to keep teaching in the corporate space and beyond. I also have backgrounds in coaching, etc., and these things all come together when we spend time together. So we really try to make sure that the space is helpful for the audience.
Thanks, Stanley. I know Philomena's just asking a question, but another one's just come in here that maybe Ryotaro, someone's asking around the accommodation. Can you talk about how to plan accommodation for the week? Is this something we arrange independently, or are there options to stay at the university?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. In terms of accommodation, we rely on yourself to book your rooms independently, but we do, upon request, can share some information on hotels around the area. It's a very, as Kyoko and Hilary has mentioned, it's a very culture area with tourists. So there are numerous hotels around the area, but at the same time, it's right next to the mountain. So the area has a great mix of things to do, things to eat, cultural aspects, but also nature. So you'll find a lot of hotel options around, and I'm here to help and assist you with finding them too. Yeah.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I would say that those of us who chose to stay, if anyone's able, in the hotel where the programs takes place, we found we were able to interact with each other or not, as you chose, but it was helpful and enriching to be right in Arishiyama, if not in that hotel. And that way you could choose to interact or not with others. But also, as Ryotaro says, you're right beside the water, the mountain, the bamboo forest. I went for a walk every morning before the program started. A lot of people did that at night, and it added to the experience.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, the program itself is in a hotel, Japanese style hotel with options for beds, like usual Western style beds, rooms. So yes, the venue itself is also an option. And just because of convenience, we also very much recommend staying there too. Yeah.
Thank you. Mark, do you want to, can you see the question from Philomena asking around whether the retreat, the program is for anyone or those with mindfulness knowledge? I know the answer, but it might be quite nice to
I think so this is a very good question, and it's great to see you again, Philomena. I think it's conceived to be an introduction, but a deep introduction, so to speak. So someone can be new, but if it is not the case, the place itself and the combination of culture, science, and leadership will bring that knowledge into like deeper. And also, I think what is quite important, and this is something that was very touching in your presentation, Hilary, is that there are ways, especially in the way that Finding Peace is conceived. It's a very plain program, but it's very smart in its way to think how to implement it, how to integrate it into one's life. So there are a lot of tips, and there is a lot of insights in order to really take it back home, so to speak, and make it your own, so to speak. So I think that's the power of this program.
I think I might add that also I speak to a lot of people who have done courses and teacher training in my role, and I hear it time and time again that when people revisit a course, they discover something new, or they hear something differently, or they experience something differently. I've had teachers that have just recently done our 3-session introducing mindfulness course, which is really, you know, a lighter, more less deeper version than Finding Peace, and they've come back. So this is really just revisiting even the introduction as a trained teacher has given me something else to work with, or something else to learn. So there's no restrictions on entry criteria for this program, which I think is what's really beautiful, is that even if you're brand new to mindfulness, it's at a level that you will be able to understand and follow. Or you could be a teacher, but you're a leader and you want to learn how to weave those things together. So I'm not sure what your and you feel free to unmute and speak too, you know, that you don't need to use the chat, but I don't know what your experience is, but I think there'd be something there for you. I think, like Hilary said, there's those 3 things coming together will support you in your leadership role.
The way I see it is that, so sort of business concrete or not business concrete was the question. And for me, it's difficult to separate the two. The way I would say is that really we're working on inner resourcing. So for example, the example you gave, you know, I might need to let someone go. And what we would be sort of working on, or what we're working on that could be relevant there, firstly is setting intentions. So the idea that, yes, I need to let this person go, but how do I want to be as I approach this situation? So there's an element of the qualities you bring into that conversation potentially. Maybe I want to be patient, maybe I want to be understanding, some quality you bring. So the how that comes with the what. So that's a small part of it. Then beyond that, the idea that because we are acting from a space of intention, hopefully there is more room to see more clearly, more choice, more ability to respond. So potentially there could be different answers that were missed. So I don't want to take too much of the time, but I would like to try if I can, David. Please tell me if it's helpful or not. So the basic idea that we all tend to be goal-focused. That's our kind of auto-prime, to get things done, go quickly, especially as a leader when lots of decisions have to be made, often on the fly. But when we focus only on the goal, or if we focus only on the goal, it tends to become very binary. Do you succeed or fail? And the whole point of mindfulness as a practice or leadership as a practice is to, as I mentioned, move out from that sort of binary perspective to say, well, let me sit with this, let me give it space, and let me see if there's more choices. So what I found has been helpful for participants is that as we slow down and we open the mind, we may notice things that we may have been blinkered, blind spots. By bringing in the qualities of mindfulness, what Marc-Henri was mentioning, compassion, all the sort of heart qualities, very often we are less quick to jump at fire or don't fire, pay more or don't pay more. And so very often it opens up more options. So we wouldn't be going through sort of the leader's personal business challenges. So it won't be like Harvard case study stuff. But we would be really talking about the universal attitudes and approaches that are very helpful and can be applied to very specific business cases.
Another question has come in asking about certification and what qualification you can get after the course.
Thanks, Ali. So I hear, I'll just do a general response for this. I hear this question a lot in terms of the mindfulness field around qualifications. This isn't, whilst we're working in collaboration with Kyoto University, this isn't a academic qualification program. So there will be a certificate given, and the certificate, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryotaro, the certificate will be duly branded from the Kyoto University and the Oxford Mindfulness Foundation, and it confirms your attendance at the Mindful Leadership Programme.